Hey, it's Sherry. I just got back from a run. I did about 5.2 kilometers today in just under 33 minutes, so that was pretty good. I'm running my first 5K in like 20 years next Sunday, so I've been training, and today's one of my last 5Ks before the big race. So wasn't my best time, but it was really good, so I'm happy with that. So now that I'm home and I'm all sweaty, and I also came home and like dragged out the green bin and some composting stuff to put down by the curb, so I'm a mess, but I thought, you know what, if I'm gonna stretch anyway, which you should do if you are running, you should always stretch after a run so that you don't have any extra soreness. A little bit of aching the next day is good. It means you did something, but you don't want to be so sore that you can't walk, so you should always stretch. So I thought, while I'm stretching anyway, I might as well show you some of my favorite stretches that I like to do after a run on a regular basis. So here we go. One of the first ones I do is a nice low lunge, and then drop your knee down, bring it in a little bit maybe. My head's probably going to get cut off, sorry. Just pull your foot gently towards your butt. Not too hard, you don't want to hurt yourself. Just enough so you feel a bit of resistance right here, and that'll stretch out your quads. You can put your hand down for balance if you need to. And then kind of sit back and stretch the front leg out. Reach forward a little bit, and you'll stretch the calf a bit. I find the next day the most common place for me to be sore is right here in my calf. So I like to really stretch this one out really well. And of course you want to switch sides, so I like to transition by doing a little downward facing dog. Stretch out your back a bit, and bring your foot forward. Repeat on the other side, sorry. So we're going to stretch that quad out a bit. Don't feel like you have to pull your foot all the way in, depending how flexible you are. You may only want to pull it in a little bit. You may want to pull it all the way in. Like I said, don't pull it in until it hurts. Just pull it in until you feel a little bit of stretch. And then sit back and stretch the calf out. I love this stretch. The stretch is really good. And you can hold this for a lot longer. I'm not going to hold it for as long as I normally do, just because it would make a really long, boring video, but I'll go back and do this again after the video is over. But just basically hold it as long as you feel that you need to. And a quick down dog again. You can walk in place a bit if you want. Stretch the calves some more. I like to do one of my favorite yoga poses, which is Pigeon Pose. So bring your front leg in, stretch your back leg out. This is really good for your hips. And you may not realize it, but when you run a lot, it really makes your hips tight. So anything that stretches them out is good. You can stay up like this if you want. You can drop down. Whatever feels good and feels like a nice stretch. Of course, other side. This is a really relaxing yoga pose too. Then before I finish, I like to just do a couple of basic, very standard stretches. Tuck one leg in, stretch up and over, grab onto the toe, and just hold that. Other side. One thing that's important, you may remember if you're old enough, you remember back in the day when it was all about bounce to stretch it. Don't bounce, just stretch as far as you can. Maybe take a couple of breaths, and if you feel like it's releasing a bit, stretch a little bit further, but do not bounce when you stretch, please. Both legs out. This is where my flexibility stops, because I can't do any more than this. And one last thing I like to do is just bring my feet together. We used to call this butterfly pose. back when I did ballet when I was a kid. Just bring your feet together, drop your legs down, your knees down, as far as you can towards the floor. You can just rock it back and forth a little bit, or gently bring them up and down. No bouncing, just slowly. I like to rock. And that's good for right into your pelvis. I don't know if it's just me and maybe the way I run, or if this is a normal thing. Running's still kind of new to me again. I find my pelvis gets a bit sore after running, so if I do this, it really helps and I don't get any soreness later. So, and one last stretch, just right up front. And that's it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. You might hear some music in the background. That's my husband George downstairs, and he's working on a song downstairs, so the music's coming right up through the floor. So maybe you'll get a little soundtrack. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not. This is a great stretch. I do this a lot when I'm watching TV at night. I'll just stick my legs in front of me, just sit and watch TV like this for a bit. Try to keep your back as straight as possible, a nice neutral spine. And there you go. And so those are my favorite post-running stretches. I'm not an expert or anything. That's just what I've been doing. Every time I run, I come back, and no matter how much I might want to eat something or how gross I feel and really want to run into the shower, I always make sure I do these stretches first. And it really helps to cut down a lot. The odd time that I haven't stretched enough, I've felt it the next day. This helps a lot. So if you're running, make sure you're stretching. Thanks. Bye.